Okay, I'm gonna try to get this right. So Loki goes into the hall, and they give him some wine, and he stands up like he's about to say something, and this one guy, Bragi, who is Aiden's husband, and kind of a drunkard, uh, says, just, I will give you, if you will leave, I will give you a horse, I'll give you my sword, I'll give you a ring, anything that you want. Just go. And Loki says, he's like, you're such a braggart. You don't do anything. You don't have a horse or a sword. In fact, every time there's a battle, you run away. Because you're a coward. You pretend that you're some big warrior, but you're a coward. And Bragi looks like he's going to say something back, and Aiden's like, no, don't fight with him here. It's not worth it. And Loki says, you're one to talk too, because you are a little slut. I saw you wrap your arms around Hod, even though he was the one who supposedly came after you. After he killed Balder and I killed him, you were all of a sudden all cozy, snuggly with him. And so then Geffian, who is another goddess, came forward, and she's like, how dare you? Why are you talking to everybody like this? And he's like, well, you're one too. Somebody offered you a pretty necklace, and you straddled them. So Odin was like, why are you, don't threaten the gods, or don't talk like this to the gods and goddesses. It's stupid, and not very safe for you, and everybody knows what's going to come of this just as well as I do, and you do, and everybody knows, so just stop. And Loki's like, well, it's nice of you to talk of being fair when you can let a weaker man in a fight, because Odin is the one who determines in wars and everything who is going to win and who's going to lose. And he's like, well, it's nice of you to talk of fairness when you can let somebody who's weaker than someone stronger win a fight. That's not really fair. And Odin comes back with, well, I'm not the one who turned into a female horse and gave birth to you. You're really feminine. Like, what are you? That's not manly at all. And Loki's like, you did the same exact thing. Not as a horse, maybe, but as a woman. You wander the earth in the form of a witch, and that's about the most, unmanly thing that there is to do. Everybody knows that. So Frigg steps forward, and she's like, how dare you talk to my son like that? My husband like that. If I had my son here, he would never let you talk like this to anybody. And Loki's like, well, I'm actually the one who made it so that your son is not here. And she's like, how can you say that here in front of everybody like that? Just openly admit to that. I know that that's what happened, but I was trying to keep my mouth shut. And Freya comes forward, and she's like, don't talk to her like that, blah blah blah. And Freya, and he's like, Freya, you've slept with every god in Asgard. Like, are you kidding me right now? You're trying to step up and defend them all high and mighty? You've slept with everybody. You even slept with a bunch of dwarves for a pretty necklace, which is a story I didn't tell you. It's kind of funny, but I'll tell you later. So, even your own brother you've slept with. And so Nord steps in, and she's like, well, whoever a goddess sleeps with is her own business, you know, whatever, if she sleeps around. And Loki's like, well, you're the worst of all. You're just here as somebody's hostage. Like, people treat you like crap. What are you even talking about? And then Tyr, oh, I guess Nord is like, hi. So then Tyr, or maybe, I don't know. Tyr is Nord's son. Tyr comes forward and he's like, you know, these people are all a lot more noble than you. And Loki's like, well, what's noble about tricking your friend into chains and getting your hand bitten off? And Tyr's like, well, I may have lost my hand, but your son's still all chained up. And Loki's like, well, your wife was lucky enough to be the father of one of my other sons, so there's that. Let's see. Then he goes after some servant who's an ass, and then he goes after Heimdall, because Heimdall's like, you're drunk, you better just stop, because this is not good. Everybody's getting really riled up at this point because they're too proud and they don't like being insulted, even though everything he's saying is true. Heimdall comes forward and he's like, everybody takes advantage of you. You can't even sleep or blink because you gotta stand over there at the edge of a bridge and watch, or sit down even, because you have to stand at the edge of a bridge and watch out for everybody here. You're like one of the only people who even works here, so you don't feel like that's a little unfair? Heimdall doesn't really have anything to say, and then Scotty came forward, and she's the giantess's daughter who married one of the gods. She comes forward and she's like, she says something to him, and he's like, well, I'm the one who got it so that your husband, or your father was killed, so there's that too. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna get you, whatever. And then Sif comes forward and she's like, oh yeah, what do you have to say about me? What about me? Because I'm purer than anybody else here, and I haven't done anything wrong, so do you have any insults for me? And he's like, no, you know, you're pretty good. You don't sleep around that much, except for that one time when you slept with me, you slept. And he's like, I've slept with every woman in here. And then Thor comes bursting into the room because he's aware that something's going on. And he comes bursting in, and he's like, you know, you're being an ass, and I'm going to smash you to bits. And Loki is totally unfazed by this at this point because he's just so angry he doesn't care. He's like, oh look, here comes Thor. He'll kill anything. You know, he's completely without mercy or care, and all he wants to do is bash people's heads in, so of course he's here to do that right now. And Thor threatens him again, and he's like, look, I'm not afraid of you. You went to the Hall of Utgard, and you couldn't do anything there. You were completely shamed. So what makes you think you're so high and mighty? You didn't even know where you were when you were sleeping in that guy's ear, and you couldn't lift a cat. You can't, you know, you're useless. And so they go back and forth a little bit, and basically Thor says, you know, I'm going to kill you, stop talking to everybody like this. And Loki's like, you know, I'm done with you guys. I don't have anything more to say. You all know what's what. And furthermore, there's not going to be any more happy little feasts at this hall of yours, because soon enough it's going to be in flames. And you're not going to be able to forget what I said. And then he goes running off because he knows that he's kind of screwed at this point. So I'll continue in the next one.